If I found a genie and the genie gave me 3 wishes and I wanted to improve gold, I would say...
This is Michael Saylor. The man who once called Bitcoin a gamble now holds worth over $64 billion.
And the founder of $50 billion publicly listed company known as Strategy.
He is famous for his bold statements, telling people to sell their homes and their organs to buy Bitcoin.
Because he strongly believes Bitcoin can go above $21 million.
If you want to pitch someone who is anti-Bitcoin right now, they can even sell their house to buy a Bitcoin. What will be that one match pitch?
If you're interested in empowerment, if you're interested in economic immortality, then you should be interested in Bitcoin.
Bitcoin can never go 100x or 20x, 30x from here, but altcoins can do that. What will your answer for that?
99% of small companies don't become Apple or Google.
Past cycles, we have seen Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high and falling to 70 to 80%. Do you feel so that same going to happen with this cycle also?
Bitcoin's volatility has been consistently decreasing for the past decade. It might fall from...
Experts are predicting a huge crash is coming because of the AI bubble, stock market bubble, currency devaluation, and for many reasons. Do you really feel so there is a crash coming? You started with just $250,000 and you have built approx $50 billion worth of company. If any young Michael Saylor is watching this video right now and you want to provide them a framework or a guidance, what would you tell them?
Bitcoin the Bhavishya hai.
So Mr. Saylor, you started with just $250,000 and you have built approx $50 billion worth of company. And you also predicted the early boom in 2000s. Who is Michael Saylor beyond Bitcoin when no one is watching?
I always loved science fiction. I always loved fantasy. I was enthusiastic about engineering at MIT, and I grew up thinking we could engineer a better world, whether it's spaceships or whether it's robots or whether it's AI. And so I've always been very enthusiastic about the power of technology to improve humanity.
When you look back, what are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of discovering Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is an economic protocol to deliver prosperity to 8 billion people on the planet. And I think that of all the things I've done, commercializing Bitcoin and delivering it to the institutional world and to the mainstream as best we could probably is our greatest achievement and greatest contribution.
Okay. What will be 5 things that you want to achieve before you die?
I would like to see Bitcoin integrated into all the banks in the world, all the companies in the world, all the families in the world, all the governments in the world, because I think it's a protocol for prosperity.
Okay. So there was a time you called Bitcoin a gamble, but what changed your perspective? And if you want to pitch someone who is anti-Bitcoin right now in just 1 minute, that Bitcoin is the future and they can even sell their house to buy a Bitcoin, what will be that 1 minute pitch?
I would say for the first time in the history of humanity, it's possible to tightly bind economic energy to the individual. That is, what you remember in your head can be your wealth. And that's profound in the history of the human race. What it means is that Bitcoin delivers unfettered property rights to every individual, every corporation, everywhere on earth, no matter where you were born, no matter where you live. And that is an instrument of economic empowerment. So if you're interested in empowerment, if you're interested in economic immortality, then you should be interested in Bitcoin.
Okay, what about like India? India household have approx 3 trillion worth of gold. And they have huge trust in gold they pass on to a next generation. If we want them to believe into Bitcoin and they also pass on to the next generation, what will be your suggestion or answer to them?
If I found a genie and the genie gave me 3 wishes and I wanted to improve gold, I would say, okay, make it impossible to mine any more gold. Make sure there's only 21 million gold coins forever. Then I would say make it possible to teleport the gold at the speed of light anywhere in the world and store it in cyberspace. And then I would say make it possible to program the gold so that you can do 1 million things a minute with the gold and put it on an iPhone or a computer. And if you did those 3 things, gold would be more valuable and you would have Bitcoin.
We already have Bitcoin with that properties. Perfect. Okay. Also, like recently, strategy stock has corrected, and it made few people scared. Okay, what will be your message for all the strategy believers and Bitcoin believers?
What I would say is that if you have capital that you don't need for 4 to 10 years and you don't want to trust any counterparty, you just want to control your money forever, you should buy digital capital. That is Bitcoin, digital gold. If you have money that you need in less than 4 years and you like in 4 weeks or 4 months and you can't stand the volatility, then you should buy digital credit. You should buy credit instruments that are backed by Bitcoin. My company sells them. One of the most famous one is Stretch, STRC, because it's meant to be stable around $100 and it pays you a 10% dividend. And then if you want to bet on the digital future, if you believe in digital credit and digital capital and you want an amplified bet, you can buy my company's equity, which is MSTR. But the equity, the digital equity is going to be more volatile and you're really betting on a 10x or 100x return and you're betting on the company. The credit is less volatile and you're just going to get cash flows. And Bitcoin is just pure property, pure capital. You'll own it and you don't have to worry about any of these things. And depending upon your time frame and your risk tolerance and what kind of investor you are, you can decide which of those things to buy.
We got all the options.
Yes.
Right. So as recently told my friend about Bitcoin, and he told me like Bitcoin can never go 100x or 20x, 30x from here, but altcoins can do that. What you will answer for that?
I think there are hundreds of thousands of small businesses that might become very, very big.
Yes.
And occasionally $1 million business becomes $1 trillion business, but it's 1 in a million. It's rare. So you might get it, but the odds are against you. On the other hand, you can buy the S&P index. It normally goes up about 14% a year for the past 5 years, or you can buy gold. Gold's been going up 14% a year for the past 5 years. Bitcoin is buying the monetary index on the digital future. It's been appreciating 45%. So if what you want to do is buy a safe index type asset that's better than gold and better than the S&P, you should buy Bitcoin. There's less risk, and you're not going to get the millionx return. But then again, 99% of small companies don't become big companies, and 99% of big companies don't become Apple or Google. And so you just have to you have to address the probabilities rationally.
Many economists and experts are predicting a huge crash is coming because of the AI bubble, stock market bubble, and currency devaluation, and for many reasons. Do you really feel so there is a crash coming? And what should a normal investor can do to protect their wealth?
Pessimists always look at new technologies and they forecast the worst. Robots will take our jobs, AIs will make us irrelevant and take over the world, and digital assets will undermine the existing system. The optimists look at the same technology and they see a better world. Perhaps we will be all unemployed because we won't have to work. What do you call a family of unemployed people? Rich. So maybe the robots will do the work. Maybe the AIs will actually make our life better and solve all of our problems. And maybe digital assets will make us all wealthy. I happen to be an optimist. I think that digital intelligence is making the world better. I think that digital assets and digital capital are making the world wealthier. What I would say is you should embrace technology, embrace the future, and figure out how to benefit from it. Don't fear it.
You are optimist.
I am an optimist.
In past cycles, we have seen Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high and falling to 70 to 80%. Do you feel so that same going to happen with this cycle also?
I think that Bitcoin's volatility has been consistently decreasing for the past decade. There was a time when it was a 200 vol asset. and then it was 100. And when I first bought Bitcoin in 2020, it was about 80 vol, which meant that it might fall from 100 to 20. It might fall, 80%. And it's become a 70 vol, 60 vol, 50 vol, 40 vol asset. So the volatility now means the drawdowns are getting less pronounced. They still might be 35%, but 35% is not 70%. I think that over the coming 20 years, the volatility will gradually decrease and start to move a trend toward the VIX, the volatility of the S&P index. And I think the Bitcoin will start to move toward the performance of the S&P index. It'll always be 50% better and probably 50% more volatile, but it won't be like it was in the past because it's being institutionalized and embraced by big banks, big institutional investors, and big corporations. And that tends to dampen the volatility on the asset.
Okay. This one is for the younger generation. In your 45 years of career, what's the one best piece of advice you have ever received that you would like to share with the world?
I think the best piece of advice I can give someone is study the future, embrace the future, think about how it can best integrate into your life. What do you have passion for? What do you have enthusiasm for? And then focus. Focus on that thing. If you're going to be a podcaster, be the greatest podcaster and make sure you use the best equipment, the best platforms. If you're going to be in the AI world, focus on AI and figure out how to make a contribution. Don't try to be all things to all people. You're not going to be the best at 100 different fields. You don't need to be. But you do need to find something you have passion for. And it probably should involve technology that your parents or your grandparents didn't have. That way you'll be able to make a unique contribution to humanity that's over and above and complementary to what's come before you.
What's the focus of Michael Saylor and what's your mission now?
My focus is to educate the world on Bitcoin's role as digital capital, and then to create digital credit, the greatest credit in the world. Credit that will pay you a 10% dividend forever in a world where most credit pays you 5 or 4 or 3%. And I think that that's a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity and the world needs it. If I could, I would give everybody in the world a bank account that pays them 8 or 10% in the currency of their choice that's powered by digital capital.
If any young Michael Saylor is watching this video right now and you want to provide them a framework or a guidance, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, read a lot of history, read a lot of science fiction and fantasy, spend a lot of time with AI, turn an AI into your personal professor, and then find your passion.
Find your passion. Any book that you will recommend in Science Pie?
I've read, I think some of the greatest work is The Story of Civilization by Will Durant, the history of the world in 15,000 pages. And if you read about what everybody has done before you, it will inspire you to find your way.
Okay. Okay, so this one is for the Indian people. As we say that Bitcoin is the future, we will say it in Hindi, okay? Repeat after me what I'm going to say, okay?
I will try. We'll see.
Bitcoin ही भविष्य है.
Bitcoin
ही भविष्य
Bhavishya
है.
hai. Bitcoin hi Bhavishya hai.
Perfect. Thank you so much.